In the competitive scene of Splatoon, there are several memorable tournaments to talk about. We can take it back to one of the OGs in the scene with Ludi or Leagues Under the Ink, or tournaments held by Nintendo such as the Splatoon 3 Invitational. While these tournaments hold their own unique spot in history, there's one tournament that continues to make history on a monthly basis, making it one of the most consistent and quality tournaments in our scene. That tournament is Lowink. Now, if you're not from the competitive scene, no, I'm not talking about Lowink in the sense of when you use a sloshing machine and you run out of ink pretty fast. Please don't nerf this weapon anymore. I am talking about the monthly tournament called Lowink, a Splatoon tournament that is aimed at newer and lower level competitive teams. It's a monthly tournament where we honestly get glimpses of future generations of players. The goal of the tournament is to give teams a chance to get into the Splatoon 3 tournament scene and gain valuable competitive experience. Most recently, on July 23rd, 2023, the staff at Inkling Performance Lab, or IPL, held their 56th Lowink tournament. This event had over 200 teams participate in the event. That means at minimum, there was 800 players signed up for the event, the most for a monthly tournament and the most for Lowink. How did this happen? Well, since September 2018, a group of dedicated tournament organizers brought one of the most beloved tournaments to the scene. Lowink didn't become this 2-day event, 100 plus registered teams, quality stream overnight. It honestly took time to make it the special tournament it is today. What's up everyone, my name is Gus and welcome to the channel. For this video, let's take a closer look at Lowink, a consistent monthly quality tournament, and why it has become so special in our community. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'd also like to hear from you. If you've played in Lowink or are currently playing in it, let me know your favorite moments, or if you haven't, still provide your thoughts in the comments. With that out of the way, let's talk about Lowink. Lowink had very humble beginnings. It wasn't always this huge event that attracted hundreds of teams to participate in and hundreds of players to watch on Twitch. But thanks to two individuals who shared a goal to bring something unique to the scene, it grew to what it is today. Those two individuals are Hoenn Hero and Krakenmare. During my discussion with Hoenn and Kraken, we discussed several things about how Lowink first started, even before it got its tournament name. It all started in a Pokemon server, believe it or not, where one of the threads to this server was dedicated to Splatoon. The game piqued their interest and they sought to make an opportunity for the scene. So in April 2018, they held a tournament called the Casual Splatoon Tournament. Keep in mind that for Hoenn and Kraken, they had little to no tournament organizing experience. So during these days, both of them learned a lot from this early experience. While this tournament is technically not the official start of Lowink, it provided them the experience and helped them craft a goal to bring something new to the community that will help it grow. And the idea was to provide a tournament for lower level players. Because think about it, in your regular major tournaments, they were dominated by the top teams. This resulted in less experienced players getting eliminated quickly and not getting the experience they needed to grow as players and as a team. Both Hoenn and Kraken recognized this, and as Hoenn expressed in the interview, the origins of Lowink was really about creating an opportunity.
So all these players would be funneled into these events with these really high level teams, and the low level teams would be eliminated almost immediately, and the low level teams wouldn't really get much of any practice or anything. So we identified that as a problem with the community and an opportunity. That's one of the key things. If you want to make a really good tournament, look for an opportunity.
So with that intention in mind, Lowink was born with its first tournament in September 2018 with 6 registered teams. Having a skill cap tournament wasn't revolutionary by any means. It was done before, but part of the aura that surrounds Lowink is due to the amount of hard work and dedication given to it. For about a year, Hoenn and Kraken were running this event on their own, where they would play the TOs, the commentators, and the streams the entire event. Basically, 2 people were doing multiple jobs for several months. It was honestly pretty scuffed. Kraken shared their experience on commentating, and once the set was done, immediately creating the next images to show on stream to update the viewer.
While Hoenn is commentating and running a little more TO side, I'm in the background running the entire stream, also commentating, and I'm also assisting in TOing if he needs the help. So in the middle of rounds, while I'm commentating, I'm making graphics on the fly.
Kinda sounds like you're in college and You're up next for a presentation and you're actively working on it while other people are presenting.
You are literally doing the present.
Oh
You
my
did like
God.
you did like the first third beforehand, and now you're doing the last 2/3 on the fly.
As Hoenn and Kraken's team slightly got bigger, the quality of the tournament continued to improve due to Hoenn's and Kraken's desire to implement feedback into their tournament. Loink wasn't just their tourney, it was the players' tourney. And with feedback from these players, Loink improved itself with features like group staging and double elimination brackets. The reason Loink has these features today is because Hoenn and Kraken listened to the participants. They took the participants into consideration on how to design a tournament for them. This honestly was probably the biggest reason why Loink became the big tournament it is today. Players saw that the TOs were listening to them, and as a result, they participated in those events. And on June 2020, Loink finally caught its break. For a year and a couple of months, Loink held a steady number of registered teams. It slightly grew each month, going from 6 teams to the 20s to the 40s to the 60s. But then June 2020 came around and they got 118 registered teams. This was mind-boggling, honestly, and it caught the eye of multiple high-level players, because keep in mind, even the big tournaments were not getting 100 plus registered teams. Loink stepped up, and with even notable TOs at the time such as K-Bot commentating on how a skill cap tournament was able to get such results. People were astonished but amazed. It was the biggest Loink at the time, and this was the first time they implemented additional brackets because of it. Alpha, Beta, and Gamma bracket, and this was due to the feedback of allowing more playtime for the players. If you weren't able to make Top Cut, you still had an opportunity to practice in the tournament so you could eventually make Top Cut in the next tournament. Eventually, Loink just became too big to confine just to one day, and as a result, it became a 2-day event, where on the first day you play in groups to determine your standing on the second day. After this big break, Loink became more known and held this unique place in the community. After June 2020, they continued to hold steady numbers, and with more time, the staff grew, the stream's quality improved, and more low-level teams began making a name for themselves in the scene. Becoming a Loink champion was sought out by many, and it's not stopping anytime soon, to be honest. Fast forwarding to Splatoon 3, now Loink is getting 150 teams registered, with their second ever Splatoon 3 tournament in October 2022, getting 170 teams registered. And while some may argue that this is due to the new game and such, and yes, that plays a factor, the Loink train is not stopping anytime soon. In March 2023, they got 177 teams registered, and May 2023, they got 175 teams. Now in July 2023, they have over 200. Now you can critique this video by saying, well, there's more low-level players than there are high-level players, so of course there's going to be more registered teams. And while that's an argument you can make, I don't think it's fair. People join because of the prestige and quality built by the TOs and the participants over the years.
Loink to me is an event that should be supporting bringing people in to this scene and helping them there, and also, you know, helping them grow.
Continue to make it such an awesome event and a pillar community in terms of keeping the quality fantastic, something that people can come to.
Thanks to the work started by Hoenn and Kraken, and with additional help and dedication from other notable staff such as Popgun, JPEG, Grace, Sky, Vincent, Ink Ferrar, and more, Loink became what it is today. A lot of notable players got their start here. Isabel from Zero Deaths is a Loink champion, and other Loink champions like Lunazuka are making a name for themselves today. Today, teams such as Legacy, Calamity Forge, and Surf and Turf are aiming to become the teams that wins Loink. I wouldn't be the player I am today if it wasn't for Loink. They gave me the opportunity to develop my craft, get the experience of playing in a long tournament, and overcoming my nerves of being on stream. Loink helped in making a name for myself. And even from a spectator's point of view, Loink is pretty awesome. You see the wackiest of wacky comps with blobbers, dynamos, pencils, and other uncommon weapons being used. It's not all about splash and ballpoint. You also never really know who's gonna win. This differs from your big majors because honestly, you probably know who's gonna win. It honestly makes listening to the podcast more interesting because Popgun's number 1 isn't always right. Regardless of what you think about other tournaments such as SOS or Proving Grounds held by IPL, you can't deny the importance of Loink in the competitive scene. It's a monthly tournament everyone is excited to tune in for. And it was all thanks to the staff dedicated to the mission of giving teams a chance to get into the Splatoon tournament scene and gain that valuable experience. So to all the Lowing staff, past and present, thank you for what you do. You made Lowing what it is today.